What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got some new news concerning Eddie and Barry Hearn. I just saw a IFL interview with the two of them, okay? And they were talking about the outcome of the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fight. Who wins, why they win, of course, Barry had a lot to say. And, you could tell he's wise and aged in the game, not like vinegar, but like wine. And, he knows a lot. You could tell he's very, very clever. And because he has the experience. He's been in the business for years, decades. Okay. Um, and he pretty much said that Tyson Fury outboxes Deontay Wilder, 9 times out of 10. 1 time out of 10, Deontay Wilder wins. Okay. And if Fury wins, he's not going to take the fight because they'll have a rematch clause. Wilder will have a rematch clause because he lost. They both think they're going to win, which is great. But, Barry thinks it's going to be a third fight. Which that's not too far off the beaten path, because he was like, well, the people around Deontay Wilder knows that they will never set a fight with Tyson Fury and not have a rematch clause. You know what I mean? So when or if Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder, they're going to have a rematch. They're going to exercise the rematch because Deontay Wilder is the WBC champion. And Barry said, well, yeah, and Tyson Fury is champion of nothing. That was harsh. But, he was like, well, and then we're like, well, why would you say that? He was like, well, Tyson Fury, he lost his belts due to a drug test. He failed the drug test. So when you do that, you have no previous claims for nothing. You can't claim anything when you lose your belts because of a drug test. No, he didn't lose it in the ring. He lost it other ways, And let's look at this. Let me counterpunch this while I'm thinking about it. Tyson Fury, we know what he went through with the mental illness, right? But if it wasn't for mental illness, it was just for drugs. If that wasn't a factor in the equation, that he had something wrong with him mentally, okay? Then the only thing that you could test him dirty for is cocaine. Okay? He was doing coke. Well, other people, Luis Ortiz, John Jones, right? David Benavidez, all these guys, not Luis Ortiz, the blood pressure medication, but it's still dirty, a banned substance. All these guys did coke other than Luis Ortiz, and they got scrutinized for it. Tyson Fury, sure, he had a mental illness. That's nothing to play with. But at the end of the day, he still was doing coke. You know what I mean? So you ask these other fighters, did you have a mental illness for doing coke? Did it make you crazy, or was you crazy because you're doing coke? Or did the coke make you crazy? You know what I mean? Either way, they did coke, and they chose to do coke. Okay? So it was a choice. So Barry does have a point on that, and I just wanted to add that to the equation, because what's the difference between Tyson Fury doing coke and David Benavidez or John Jones? Okay? They were doing coke. They chose to do coke. They did coke. Tyson Fury tested positive for coke, so he lost all of his belts. You know what I mean? And as much as, people criticize boxers for popping dirty, okay? That's the loophole, and it's clever by Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? And I think it is a clever move, but I do think something was really wrong with him, honestly, But let's say if it wasn't, let's say it was all a gimmick. Let's say he just wanted to get high. You know what I mean? He just had a substance abuse problem. That alone is a mental condition. Addiction is a mental condition, right? So, we got to call it how we see it in that situation. Hell. You know what I mean? You need, you need a rehab facility, right? But anyhow, back to Barry. He said, as far as 50-50, whoever wins that fight, that gets them in a better position to negotiate. If Deontay Wilder, if the second fight does really well, okay, if it does really well with the numbers, then it is a possibility that he gets close to 50-50. You know what I mean? Now we know Eddie Hearn, he chimed in and he had to say that if Anthony Joshua offered Deontay Wilder 50-50, he wouldn't take it. Now, let me counterpunch that. I believe he wouldn't anyway. Deontay Wilder stated that he does not want to fight Anthony Joshua. He calls himself freezing out Joshua. Do you know why he would do that? Because he said that the deal has to be fair. But before you said the deal has to be fair, you said you don't want to fight him. So he let the cat out of the bag right there. He doesn't want to fight AJ. But the bad thing about Deontay, he's not thinking, the long road, like Barry stated, okay? They're taking the long road, Team Joshua, which is smart. Why? Because Anthony Joshua's 28? Okay? That's in his prime. Deontay Wilder's 33. He'll be 34 this year. He keeps this shit up, he won't be able to do what he normally does. He already doesn't like to train people. He doesn't have time to sit on his ass talking about freezing anyone out when he is the fighter that has Joshua by 5 years? 4 or 5 years? If Joshua's 28, 33, he has him by 5 years. Over 5 years in age. Team Joshua is planning to be around for the next 5 or 6 years. Okay? You can't say that about Deontay Wilder. He's talking about being an actor and all this shit. That fight might not even happen anyway. If you look at it, if you think about it, right? Because of the rematch clause, they'll have a trilogy if Tyson Fury outboxes him. And he said Tyson Fury can't punch, but he's a clever, awkward guy. You know what I mean? He can box his socks off. Deontay Wilder, he has a puncher's chance, but he can't fight. So, Barry had a lot. I think he threw a little shade in there. But I think he was really telling the truth too. And these two guys, it's a hell of a dance, I can tell you that. You got a guy that really can't fight, not technical, not really skilled, don't really believe in skill, but can punch like the Dickens, versus a guy that's clever, fast, quick, and he's ever getting smaller. We've seen Tyson lately. He looks like a GQ model. He looks like Hitman. You know what I mean? Hitman 47, the video game, the movie. That's what he looks like. All he needs is a damn barcode. He's already bald and tall. You know what I mean? He might be the actor. Cast him in the next Hitman, And I think he's British too, I believe. I'm not sure. Anyway, but just throwing that in there. But no, back to Barry, he stated that whoever wins gets a better bargaining, position for Anthony Joshua. And he said that Anthony Joshua pretty much won't lose any sleep if, Deontay Wilder don't want to fight him. I mean, why would he? The guy already makes millions to fight in a small pond, right? Makes millions already. That by itself is bloody impressive. Damn. If you could stay in one place and make a gang of money like that, pretty much why would you need to go anywhere else? You're going to automatically get haters anyway. You know what I mean? Because people hate to see that shit. Like, how can he go over there and make all that money for one damn fight? I ain't making that. Instant jealousy. You know what I mean? What else I would need to cover about this video? Also, what Barry Hearn said about Deontay Wilder, he was like, well, Wilder hasn't really done anything with his career. You know what I mean? The biggest buzz he's made was last year. And that's true. He said that Deontay Wilder, in his own little world, in his own little fishbowl, of notoriety and popularity, being someone calling him champ is good enough for him. And that made total perfect sense. And I couldn't say it better. Because Deontay Wilder says he likes to be low key. He doesn't want the notoriety, the popularity. And I think that's bullshit. But that's what he said on the All Access with Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder on one of those episodes. He said that, and recently I was at the airport and ran into a guy that is from Tuscaloosa. And, of course, I was asking him questions and stuff, and he knows Deontay Wilder. And that area, it's small. It's a small, indigenous group of people, and they all know each other. And they know him. They say he'll roll up to a Burger King, in a damn Rolls Royce, ordering food, So that is his, that is his little fish bowl. He's the big fish in the little pond there. You know what I mean? He's low key, goes to clubs and stuff, talks to people. They play basketball together. This guy was telling me, and even he said he thinks Joshua's going to beat him. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I think that he knows his limit. He knows his limit. He knows his level. And Barry's absolutely right. I did a video about it early last month, where Deontay knows his place, and he does. He knows his place. He knows his level, and I think deep down inside he doesn't want the Anthony Joshua fight, because I don't think that he wants to really be on that big scale. I think the WBC's realized the WBC is good enough for me. People regard that as the most prestigious belts, so why would I go after the other belts? So if I'm thinking with the simple mind of Deontay Wilder, if I'm thinking like that, I think that would be appropriate, because, that's good enough for him. You know what I mean? You noticed he hasn't strived for the Joshua fight, because he's showing us all that he doesn't want to be one face, one name. He doesn't want that. He really doesn't. That's just something to say, because if he wanted that, he would have went for that a long time ago. Okay. And he didn't. He claimed to want to last year, but only like for 4 months or whatever, however months that the negotiation supposedly went, back and forth through the pond. And it really wasn't that many of them. So, but no, Deontay's on his own level. I agree with Barry Hearn in that aspect, and, but the good news is, the long road, someone eventually has to fight Anthony Joshua or they won't. So if Deontay Wilder beats Anthony Joshua and they offer him close to 50% and he doesn't take it, we know what the true narrative will finally be. So anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this interview. Tell me what you think about Barry and Eddie Hearn's statements. Of course, please subscribe, guys. You guys been counterpunched. Peace.